Hi, Anita.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I am doing well, thank you. How are
Uh,
you?
oh, we're recovering from COVID. We were sick.
Oh no.
Yeah, but we recovered. I figure we're lucky.
Yeah, I actually had it over the break as well, but I didn't get it bad at all. Just a few
Oh,
more.
I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah.
Good. That's the way Morgan was. She was sick one day, but
Yeah,
the old people got sick.
I didn't realize I even had it. And Christmas Eve, my son and I were baking cookies, and he's like, "Mom, I think the cookies are done. I can smell them." Like, uh-oh.
Like, oh, crud. Yeah, that's a definite clue. We
So the
didn't lose our taste or our smell, thankfully. It was just, you're just sick. It's like a really horrendous case of the flu. And of
oh.
course, then you're under quarantine, and you have to stay home. So,
Yeah, I think the only bad thing I had was like a really bad headache there at the end. And then like after that headache, I didn't have anything. Like I didn't feel bad. I didn't have any more runny nose or cough or anything because I had kind of like
great.
light cold at first and
Yeah.
lasted a few days and that was it.
Did you go get tested?
I did.
Yeah, me too. Well, we had to because Morgan was positive. So everybody, we spent Christmas Day with her, and she got sick that night. And my husband was sick within one day. One day.
And
It
I
was
have an
something.
even funnier story since we have a couple minutes. Uh, the day I was going to go to the health office to get tested, my car wouldn't start.
Oh
So
no.
I had to bike down there.
You're kidding.
I'm in line with all these cars and I'm like straddling my bike in line, like
They were
so
probably like, you
embarrassing.
feel well enough to ride your bike?
Yeah, I was. So, you know,
Oh God.
who knows what
Did your
everybody was
kids
thinking.
get sick? Did your son get it?
Nothing. Nuh-uh. They were
That's
told to
awesome.
quarantine and they didn't have any symptoms either. So I don't know. It's just weird.
That's awesome. Yeah, great. Carrie got really sick. She was probably the sickest.
Oh no.
It's just funny how it affects different people different ways. I think my grandson and his girlfriend brought it from Colorado, to be honest, to us. Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I'm glad you didn't get real sick, and I'm glad the boys didn't either.
Yeah.
It takes a while to kind of get over it. We're just now climbing out of it. So,
Well, that's good.
yeah,
Um,
like I
I
said,
don't
I feel
know.
like
Like,
we're pretty lucky, because you hear all these horror stories about how sick people are, and we made it.
yeah, that's good.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I guess we all have a little bit of immunity now, right?
I hope so.
Yeah, me too. Well, have fun. Thank you. It's good to talk to you.
Yeah. So here's a sign-in sheet for those of you that are just coming in. It's in the chat, and I'll keep putting it up until we get to and it's 10:30. So having that little chat made that time go by so much faster. I'll put it in there one more time. And I think we have a very small group today. Um, Earlier, Steven said his group was small today too. I think there's a lot going on today. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And I'd like to start this off with a poll. So this presentation today is about bringing in the standards, looking at your Ready Gen and technology and putting it all together. Like when does it come in? How we should be putting it? Should it be um, all at once, a little bit at a time, things like that. So here's my question. Let me copy paste it so that way I don't have to take too long typing it out. And all right, so here is question.
Anita, I'm not sure what you're doing because I'm not getting anything except you have the picture of
Um,
your snowball.
let me stop sharing that. I know some people are already seeing it, but I'll stop sharing for just a minute so that you can hopefully see the question. Do you see it now?
Where to look in polls. I don't use that enough to know what they're talking about.
I had to search for mine because I don't either, Jamie. But over on your side where it has the chat and everything, and it has the 3 little triangles up at the top, I think is what it is. Or
The dots, yeah.
the box and the triangle and the circle. Click on it and then you should be able to find it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'll give you just a couple more minutes. I have about half of us that have answered, and the other half, maybe you're still thinking. All right, so even if you didn't vote, I'm going to go ahead and end the poll so we can go ahead and continue. And then I will show everybody the results. So if you can see on your screen, the majority voted kindergarten, which is kind of where we're going to be, what we're going to start looking at first. You can see it's a little scattered throughout there, 1st grade, 2nd grade, and 3rd grade. I'm glad nobody voted to wait until 4th and 5th grade to start introducing those digital skills to produce and publish writing. So we'll go ahead and get back to the, oops, I got to share my screen. I can't just go to it. So let's go. All right, so let's look at what we're going to be seeing. I hope you all had a great break. And today we're going to be looking at what's necessary for students in order for them to be successful when completing online assignments. So especially now that we're virtually learning. So we're going to look at ReadyGen right now. Later throughout the month, I want to bring in some, Envisions, the other platforms that we're using as well. So even if you're not using ReadyGen, if you're like another teacher used something else, like unique, if you teach SPED, things like that, if you brought that with you. I don't have access to it, but hopefully if you want to meet at another time, we can look at it to see what we can do to bring in some of those technology components and standards. Right now, we're only looking at one standard and what it means and how to teach it. And then our goal is for our students to be able to demonstrate proficiency in the use of computers and applications, as well as have an understanding of the concepts underlying hardware, software, and connectivity. And what I really want you to understand is technology is not a separate entity. Even just a few months ago, last year, some of us have always treated it as something separately. We said, okay, let's get out our devices. It's tech time. And it was put away after that time. So now it's always present. It's always there. We're having to use it all the time. And I think it always should have been there. It should have always been available for students to use all the time. When I was still in the classroom, I never really treated it as something separate, like, oh, we got to have our tech time. We have to do this now. But we shouldn't be treating it something separate, but it also shouldn't be the focus. And so hopefully throughout this, you'll be able to see that, what I mean. So let's look at some basics. So many skills are going to be introduced at kindergarten level. We're going to be looking at like what skills are introduced, what skills are going to be optional, what skills need to be reinforced, and what skills need to be mastered at a certain level. Now, every kid's different, you know that, just like all our other standards. Not all these kids are going to master these, not all the kids are going to have these under their belt at a certain time. So, and some kids are going to be way more advanced. So just like in any other subject, don't hold them back and don't push too much if they're not ready for it. So of course, kids need to learn how to turn on a computer or whatever device that they're using. I know it's really hard, especially those beginning of the year, logging in, using their password, but try not to do it for them. It's like learning to tie a shoe. You know, we get impatient. We want them to hurry up, let's go. You have to get logged in. You have to start doing your iStation test or whatever it may be. But please be patient with them. Let them learn it, because they will learn their username and password. Just give them the time to do it. So they also have to learn what a cursor is, the mouse, whether they're using the trackpad on their laptops. Maybe they don't have an actual mouse like I have. They have to know what icons, menus, windows are. And right now, saving documents is really easy. So it is optional at the kindergarten level. So the standard that is introduced at kindergarten does show, and this is why I put this question out there, when should we start? When should students start using digital tools to produce and publish writing? It's in kindergarten. So it is in the writing standard, CSS, ELA, W, writing, kindergarten 6. So with guidance and support from adults, explore a variety of digital tools to produce and publish writing, including collaboration with peers. So we'll kind of look at that, and then we'll go into ReadyGen to see where we could put that in. Like, how do I teach this? What do you mean? They're collaborating, they're writing, using the keyboard. Now, this does not mean that they have to know exactly where every key is and they have to know keyboarding, but they do need to start using proper placement. I know a lot of us, I know adults who use, and I get onto my own kids who's in high school, one of them anyways, who still uses like the peck and finger sort of thing. And I'm like, kid, quit it. This is why I took you to the library all those times to play with SpongeBob typing. And of course, he still reverts back to this, like, yeah, but I'm really fast like this, Mom. And I'm like, yeah, no. So just keep encouraging those correct finger placements, where your thumb should be on the space bar and those enter keys, and they will get there. So I'm going to go ahead and open up ReadyGen. I'm going to click here. And we'll go ahead and go to, oops, I think that was first grade. Let's go back. Kindergarten. And I'm just going to head over to the teacher's guide and open that up. And you may not see this particular standard right away. You might see it later on, but many of the lessons still, oops, let's go, let me go back again. Ooh, no, that's not what I want. Go ahead and go to a particular unit so I don't have to thumb through there so much. And we'll go to a lesson. All right, so in these lessons, if you go ahead and just go towards the back, of course, you probably know where the writing components are. A little bit further. Here's your narrative writing, and one more, you see the independent writing practice. And there's usually this little digital option here. And there's the standard, use technology to produce and publish writing to collaborate with others. So take a look at this and then you can see what it's suggesting you to do. And some of these often get overlooked. It may not be in every lesson. I just happened to stumble upon one, but there usually is some kind of digital option. It doesn't always have this particular standard up here, but it will give you a digital option. At this one, it's asking you to draft their ideas. So, or their details. I can't read that little writing. And then have them printed out if you have access to a printer. If not, that's okay. I know right now students from home probably don't have this option right here, but they do have their laptops, their Chromebooks at home. So you could have them still start drafting some details. You could still talk about those things. What does it mean to draft, to create a draft and type out things like that online? So, and with the Kami, they can add drawings to their writing. So this is a great way. And then you could share their work. They can learn how to share the work with the family and friends. And so that is where you find it in ReadyGen. And it's like that with most of the grades. You go towards the end and there's the writing. If you go to the next lesson, oops. Never mind. If you go to the very beginning of the unit, it does have it. So if you're in the classroom, back in the classroom, at the very beginning of each unit, you do have those options to create centers, and they have the little digital component. I don't believe we have the Tick-a-Talk available to us. Does anyone know? I think I saw Kim Chavez in our meet. Kim, did we ever get that component added?
I don't think so.
No, okay. So that's kind of a bummer. That looks like a really cool feature that kids would be able to create stories and things like that, adding pictures and illustrations to their writing. But there are other programs, platforms that you could use in place of that. So, all right, let's go back to, am I not sharing? Are you not seeing the ReadyGen? Did I like totally mess that up? Are you seeing the ReadyGen?
No, ma'am.
I can't see it.
Of course. Okay. So here I was all talking, but here in the ReadyGen is the digital option right here that I was talking about, and the writing standard with using the technology. So if you go towards the end of the lesson, whatever unit it's usually in every lesson. I haven't looked through every single lesson, but a lot of the lessons have these digital options right here under independent writing practice. So that's where you'll find it. So especially helpful for those of you that are new to ReadyGen or just new to the district. That's where that is. I forget. This is why I like to share like my entire screen and not just share a certain tab. So let
Only
me.
seeing you, sweetie. I'm not seeing anything that you're sharing.
Yeah, we still can't see anything.
All right, so let me change it over to share entire screen. And maybe that will help. Because I know I've had a few teachers email me and say that when they share a tab, it hasn't been working well. So maybe if I just share the entire screen and just kind of go back and forth
Now
with
we
that.
can see it.
Yeah. So maybe this will work a little bit better. Yeah, for some reason it would just go blank on them. So I forgot about that. And from flipping between tabs, I don't know why. Google needs to fix that. All right, so we looked at ReadyGen. I think we're on this one. All right, so we're going to be looking at how do we introduce these skills and why. So this is not the only reason why. Yes, it is important that they know these skills because of iStation, because it is in our Common Core standards, but we'll talk a little bit about like other reasons why. And so I did say earlier, a lot of guidance and patience, not doing it for them, even when they're taking a long time to get those skills down. Looking for those letters, it's overwhelming for a little tiny 5-year-old, 6-year-old in kindergarten to find those letters. It's new, it's a lot, and so just be patient with those little ones. So it's also important to explain what computers are, what they're for, why we use them. I know we kind of take for granted all these kids, like, oh, they're born with technology. They've been using phones since they were a year old. They know what it is, but it's important to teach them what they are, and why we use them. So not just for entertainment purposes. And also using correct terms and vocabulary. So it's not anyone from our district. The little arrow thingy that moves around on the screen, it's called a cursor. So nobody from here, but I've heard people call, the thing that moves around on the screen just a thingy, the arrow thingy, or, just other terms that maybe they didn't know what it was. So make sure that you're teaching those terms correctly, just like we do in math or language arts. We get those terms correctly from the beginning. Things like when we're teaching about folds, like vertical and horizontal, things like that. I went the other wrong way there, but we start from the very beginning, teaching them the right terms so that it follows them all the way up. You can even put up charts in the classroom. I went to a teacher store and they had little, I guess not like flashcards, but little cards that you can put up in the classroom with different terms. So you could change those out and with a picture with it and the word. They're in the other office where I'd show them to you. They're maybe like $5-10, I don't remember. And so I have those. And then modeling, a lot of modeling, especially for kindergarten. How to use the mouse, how to use the trackpad to manipulate the items on the screen. So not just moving it across there, but they also need to know how to grab an item, make it bigger, make it smaller, clicking on buttons. And that's important for when they do those iStation tests and other things like that. The scroll bar on the side, how to use the mouse with that, how to maybe use 2 fingers if they only have a trackpad, and pushing that scroll bar down, holding something down and moving it using the 2-finger, things like that. So more modeling when using menus, opening windows. So they need to know what a menu, what a tab is, just so that when you're explaining something up on the board or when you're in virtual learning and you say, I need you to open a tab, they know what you're talking about. All right, so I want to hear from you, and you can just put it in the chat. I need a real reason. So not just why up here because of testing and because we're expected to teach it because of Common Core, but what are some other reasons we should be teaching our kinders these skills?
It's the real world. It's what they're going to be from now on. So they need to start as little as possible, I guess.
All right. Oh, okay. You can also just voice your opinion. You don't have to type it up.
I
Anyone
can't
else?
figure that. I'm sorry, I can't figure that part.
Yeah. Anybody else, or if you want to type it up, that's fine. All right. Awesome. So it starts from whenever they're little. If we don't start them at this age, unfortunately, they are going to get more behind. So I know it seems like, oh, they're too little, and we did that poll, and some of us said no, we shouldn't start till second or third or first or second grade. But yeah, they do need it at this young age, and it shouldn't be looked at like, oh, technology, it's getting pushed down further and further. But I don't know about you, but I had technology when I was a little kid. It didn't look like a laptop. I don't know if anybody remembers these. They're a speak and spell and the math and speak or something like that. Those were my computers back in my day, and people might have thought, oh, they're just toys, but yeah, those were computers back in the day. I had a different kind of computer, but that's what I had when I was little. So it just looks different now, and it's going to keep changing, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to keep going with it, and these kids are going to be successful as long as we keep pushing it, so that it goes with them as they go older and into their careers, things like that. Yep, and all their assessments are online. Even in kindergarten, those babies have to start taking assessments online. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to first grade. All right, so first grade, those same skills are going to be reinforced. So same things, turning on a computer, logging in, knowing what those items are, and then we're going to introduce a couple more things. The ones that were optional in kindergarten now become an introduce item. So like file management, saving documents. And so with Google, we have that luxury of everything gets saved automatically, but you can also introduce like other ways to save things. And I know a lot of you have already introduced or shown your students how to save on Kami, because it doesn't always save quickly. If they finish an assignment and they turn it in right away, there might be a few missing because it lags a couple minutes behind. So you've shown your students how to save it before they turn it in. So things like that are always just a good idea. And if we get back into the classroom, so it was a good idea to have backup saves, like on a jump drive, and talk about why those different ways to save are important. And then explaining and using age-appropriate online tools. So that becomes something that, like using a web browser and looking up things. So research already in first grade. So it doesn't really change as far as the standard here. It looks exactly the same as it did in kindergarten. This is all about the same. You're just going to keep on practicing. The lessons in, let's see. Let's go back. Is it this button? I don't want to exit out of Realize completely on accident. Here we go. And we'll go to first grade. And we'll pick a different unit. We'll go to unit 3. Oh, where did I go to? So it looks like, I guess it does. Okay. Oh, because I didn't go to a lesson. So we gotta go to a lesson. Alright, so here's our lesson. And you'll ever see that writing component in the very beginning here. Just like in the kindergarten when they're all set up pretty much the same. I have to keep on scrolling all the way back to the writing components. It's independent writing. There it is again with guidance, use technology, and there's our digital options. Type their fact and opinion. So draw a picture. So pretty cool. If you're not familiar with ReadyGen and you're new to the district, I don't know if I have any new teachers on today. You can meet with me later and I can show you some other features in ReadyGen that where I can show you where like the resources are and how to get your lessons uploaded to like a Kami document, things like that. So, but here's your digital options. And so a good way to do this is just every lesson, every time. And I said earlier, it's not a separate entity. And I know it seems like a lot to bring in every time, but there should be some kind of writing in throughout the week. And so maybe not every single day, but you need to be having them practice writing. Even if they just type a few sentences and then they write it again on paper, that's up to you as a teacher, but get them used to using those typing skills, even if it's just a little bit every week. All right, so let's go back. Oops. And then keep reviewing those computer part names and more patience, more guidance, and of course keep modeling those things. With us working virtually, the modeling may have to do be with you. I know we're starting to go back, some kids in the classrooms, some online. So you could do some videos, like pre-recorded videos for your kids that are online still, so that they can have that model structure that your kids are getting in the classroom. And introduce any new concepts. Like I said, we have some new concepts that we're introducing, like how to save, and what was the other one? Using online tools. So make sure that whatever you introduce has a purpose, and so not just because, oh, we have to learn what the internet is. No, so make sure that it goes along with whatever you're doing. So that lesson said something about fact and opinion. So you could always use the internet to teach what is fact. Okay, we're going to use the internet to research what is a fact, what is opinion, and teach why the internet helps us and things like that. So explain the purpose of using technology versus paper and pencil. So there's a great many ways that technology has helped us improve, not really, well, improve our writing. Kids can get creative with using maybe a word processor like Google Docs, and they can change the font, they can change the colors, they can change the size of the font. They can quickly correct things on there if they make a mistake without messing up the paper. I know teaching elementary, we've all had papers turned into us with holes in them because they erased so much. And you could differentiate with technology and, of course, collaborate. You can all work on the same document, or in partners, even if we're not in the same room together. So all those different possibilities because of technology. All right, so again, with first grade, so just go ahead and where we want to go to the chat, just go ahead and pop in and give me another reason, and it could be like what I just talked about, some other purposes of why you think these skills are important in first grade. We got a quiet audience. I think it's because we have such a low number today. Maybe some of us are still on vacation. Maybe some of the same reasons. Just keep going forward, and it's going to help them later in their careers. It's going to help them. We'll see here in a couple more grade levels how the standard changes. All right, so we'll go ahead and move on to second grade. All right, so all those little baby skills, oh, they're already supposed to be mastered by second grade. So we introduced them at kindergarten, we reinforced them at first grade, and most of those, and you've probably already seen, like, yes, they can turn on a computer by second grade. I know when I did second grade, at the beginning they did forget their username and passwords, but within a week or so they're like, oh, I remember it now, and they would log in, no big deal. So yeah, so they can master those like nothing. Knowing what the names of things are, they may need a little bit more reinforcing at the beginning there, but most kids know what a mouse is. They know what a keyboard is. They know what a screen is. Some of the other things like tabs, windows, what a menu is, they may need a little bit more guidance on that. But by the end of that school year, I think they will know what those are called. So just keep on making sure that those are done by second grade. And then the ones that were introduced in first grade, like file management and saving documents, could be reinforced. And file management, I probably wouldn't even like teach it in first grade a whole lot, but more in second grade. And that it would be like keeping their drive organized. Because I've I've seen a lot of adults with messy drives, Google Drives, and it's okay. I'm not dodging anybody or anything. You know, everybody likes their files a certain way. Like, oh, I know exactly where it is, but you could teach them about like making folders and things like that in second grade, and they'd still be okay, even if that skill waits a little bit. So it's up to you. So, and then this one reinforcing age appropriate online tools. Always vet your links that you send out to your kiddos. Make sure that they're good, appropriate links and resources if you're going to be sharing them with your students. So again, this one looks exactly the same as in kinder and first. Nothing has changed yet. So the Ready Gen, I don't think it changes too much either, but we'll go ahead and look at that and see if it changes a little bit in second grade as far as what they're expected to do and what it looks like. So I'll go see if I can get straight to the lesson this time. I think I kind of skipped that last time. So to keep going, here we go. So now I should be right on the lesson instead of having to scroll through all those pages. All right. Yes, so again, here it is, the very end of the lesson. And so if available, and yes, our district has available, using computers or tablets to draft their writing, have them print their paragraphs and share them with a classmate to review. So since we don't have those printing options available, what you could do instead is have them learn how to use the share button and share it with a classmate for review. So sharing it, but with comments only. If you're not sure how to do that, let's go to a document and I can show you real quick. Open up a Google Doc, just a demo one. And so just sharing this screen just like that to your students, and you would tell them to share. And I got to name it first. And then they would pick whoever you partner them up with. So I'm going to just say Stephen Morgan, and then you would show them how to change this to just commenter so that they can give each other feedback, and then they would send it. So I'm not going to send this to Stephen. He'll be like, why did you send me a blank document, Nita? Of course, he would probably understand that it was for this. So there's that one. Whoops. And where was I? Oh, we were in here. Okay. And so yes, sharing. You could also share in Kami, and some of you have probably done that. And I don't know, we're kind of running out of time. So I'm going to go ahead and skip that. If you don't know how to share between students a Kami document, make an appointment with me and I can show you how you can share between just a couple students. All right. So again, how are we going to make sure that these skills are mastered? Because right now these skills should be mastered. So we're going to design lessons that give students opportunities to add features. This is where we get their buy-in. This is where we get the engagement. We got to make it fun because we're competing with all these gaming systems. We're competing with all these social medias that are so much more fun than our stuff. So things like adding images, adding GIFs, headings, captions, and other text features. And by the way, this text features are in the standards. Let's see, which standard is it? 2, reading for information. I have it written down. 2.5, know and use various text features, captions, bold print, subheadings, glossaries, indexes, electronic menus, icons, things like that. So yes, it is part of, oops, I clicked on that. And then providing collaboration opportunities through Google Slides, Google Docs. Kids love doing stuff together. So give them those opportunities to collaborate. Many times as adults, we in many fields, they work together. So give them as many collaboration opportunities as possible throughout the semester. And then you can talk about editing and how cool it is. I did a few months in 4th grade. Was it last year when before the teachers came in from the Philippines? I covered a 4th grade class, and the light bulb came on for some of these 4th graders when I told them what the little squiggly red line means on their documents that they were typing up and how to correct those. So yes, that's a pretty cool feature that they can correct their spelling and grammatical errors. And it was so hard for me to leave this incorrect on here, but if you go to the original one, you can see that they were all underlined. Now it's not, but yeah, they're in your editing, when it's in the edit mode, you can see that they're all underlined right here. So that would show up for them. And so now we don't have time to go over this, but again, there's more reasons than just testing in Common Core. And I'm hoping that you're starting to see that like there's more than just testing in Common Core, why we teach these skills. All right, so moving on, we have 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade to get through and about, 15 minutes. So I'm going to kind of, because this is the same as Kinder 1st and 2nd, I can go through this a little bit quicker. All the same things here, except now all these skills are mastered by 3rd grade. Here is where it changes just a little bit. You can see they've added in using keyboarding skills. So now those skills should be like, they should be using them. So not just those little fingers here and there, they should actually be keyboarding. And so if they're practicing from Kinder 1st and 2nd, they're good to go. Because if we look, and I won't go ahead and go into ReadyGen, because now it's set up the same way. If you go into the lesson, you go towards the back under independent writing, those lessons are going to be right there with this standard. And I may go into 4th grades just so you can kind of see. And then how are we going to teach these? How are we going to make sure that those skills continue to improve? So keep giving them chances to improve those skills. I know there's some keyboarding programs out there. There's not a lot of free ones, unfortunately. It might be a good idea to try to get the district to buy some, but I don't know how we would go about doing that. I wish I was magic and just be like, hey, we need this and I get it, but I don't have that magic. So students need to know the different stages of writing. So at this point, they're not just writing a little bit of paragraph here. They're needing to know all the various tools. So in the stages, so there's research, images. So they use internet for research and images. And then there's writing, drafting, and that's using a word processor for those things. Sharing the work either with you through Google Classroom, through email, through a blog, things like that. And then there's publishing. So through a presentation, through Google Slides, through Google Site, things like that. So all the different stages are all part of showing them, hey, there's not just typing a little bit and then you're done. There's all these things that go with it. Keep introducing features in like embedding images, page design, can get your text to flow and how you lay out your images and your text with it within your document. This is a good time to talk about copyrighted material, especially if you're bringing in images from the internet. And that's it for that. So really just keeping that engagement going is how we're going to keep those skills to continue, because they're going to want to do these things. All right, so 4th and 5th grade, again, everything is the same. And this is where it changes. The standard goes from, with some guidance and support from adults, use technology, including the internet, to produce and publish writing, as well as to interact and collaborate with others, demonstrate sufficient command of keyboarding skills to type a minimum of 1 page in a single setting. So we've just gone from like a little bit to an entire page. And that kind of seems like a lot, like 4th grade, sit and type an entire page. But that's what it is now. Oops, so I said I was going to go to Ready Gen 4th grade. Let's take a look, see what that looks like. Browse, go down here to 4th grade. We'll check out Unit 2 and Lesson 6. I don't know. I'm just randomly picking somewhere, guys. So I didn't actually I looked at a few, but the ones I'm picking now, it's not like I wrote these down and be like, oh, this one's a good one to show them. No, so. Because they're all really good, right? All of them are great. All right, so there's our standard, and this one is asking them to write a paragraph and then have them use the tablets to draft their paragraphs, encouraging them to use the internet to find additional details about spirit animals and vision quests. That kind of sounds fun, actually. So they are using, they are drafting their writing in that particular lesson. And it may go into more like the continuing lesson, because I just went to the first lesson. Usually the next lesson kind of builds upon that. So, and then, yeah, writing an entire page. Poor little babies. So we're going to give them direct instruction to do this, especially if we introduce any new platforms or applications for them to use. And this is for you teachers. Stay ahead of any new technology, new developments, any updates that that the programs are using puts out there. So Google is constantly putting up new updates, and that's probably why there's a glitch right now in the system, because they're working on it. Producing writing. So exploring online applications that are designed to help students with so this is for you as well. Look for those things that are going to help students with the designing, generating, organizing, developing their ideas through writing. And of course, keep introducing features such as infographics, multimedia, video clips, because the more that they can add to their presentations or their writing, and not just be writing, the more they're going to have that buy-in. by fourth, fifth grade, they're going to be like superstars at creating presentations and writing. All right, so fifth grade looks almost the same. Again, this is all the same, so that's kind of why I quickly went over that. And it has changed a little bit again, but if you look right here, it has gone from 1 page in fourth grade to 2 pages. So that's another big jump from one grade to the next. And how are we going to get them to do this? We're going to keep at it. So all the skills that I've talked about before, we're just going to keep on building on those, and then extend those discussions. Make it available to where they can have a class blog, so they can get together with their classmates and have discussions. I know we have our meets, but kids love social media, even fifth graders. I've seen teachers on TikTok. I don't know if anyone's in TikTok, but there are some teachers doing some really amazing videos out there for their students. And if that's one way to get your students to get a little bit of content out there, then maybe we should start doing some TikToks. I don't know if you're brave enough for that. There's the really silly ones, but there's some really good teachers out there that are doing some good stuff too. But Select Technology is going to enhance their writing, so that can be more than just word processors. You letting them, if you have the capabilities, letting them use digital cameras if they have it to capture their own images, to do videos, their own short videos to add to their documents and presentations. Let them use little instruments for scientific data gathering, things like that. So it doesn't always just have to be typing up a paper. And that'll get them surely engaged into what they're learning. All right, I have about 6 minutes for questions and comments. And so I'm going to take a look at the chat because usually there's something in there. Yes. Yeah, they're all about the same. Like, the main thing is we just want them to be successful and not fall behind when they get up there, because as you saw from kinder to fifth grade, all in elementary, it went from knowing a little bit to typing 2 full pages. It's quite a big jump. It's a lot. And if we don't start it when we need to, they're definitely going to get further and further behind. So any questions? Go ahead and put them in the chat. And I'll put the, in case any of you came in late, I'll put the sign-in sheet in here one more time. Another meeting. All right. You all have a wonderful day, and I will see you next week, hopefully.